What's up, Diesel heads, and welcome to the second special episode of the Chronicles of Diesel. Episode... What are you laughing about?
Diesel heads?
Diesel
I
heads,
actually
yeah.
love that a lot.
I feel like we gotta give the people a name somehow. And what are we together? We're Diesel heads, you know?
We should make that a subreddit.
Our Diesel heads. It might be free, who knows? Yeah, so this is the Chronicles of Diesel, a monthly podcast where we take a chronological survey of Vin Diesel's filmography. But this is a special episode because every now and then he's going to come out with a current movie and we're going to want to review those. And the best place to do that is here on the Chronicles of Diesel feed. So today we finally saw Bloodshot. Who saw Bloodshot? Well, that would be me, Ethan, along with my friend over here, Devin.
What the hell, Doc?
It's quality acting.
That is... It was either that or don't look at my ass. Don't. Those are the two quotes that I pulled that I'm like, one of these is going to be used. I'm like, I'm going to use both. So, there you go.
Yeah, those were from the movie, right? Or did you just... Okay.
Yes, they're from the movie. I literally wrote it on notes. And my notes here on my phone.
So yeah, we saw Bloodshot after a very long, difficult couple of weeks there. We wanted to see this like 2 weeks ago, right? And we just a little 13th, a little tiny microscopic problem got in the way and shut down the theaters. So
microscopic, just like the nanonites,
exactly.
Or whatever they're called.
Exactly, or COVID-19, otherwise known as the coronavirus. Yeah, so we wanted to see this a couple weeks ago. Coronavirus. First off, scared us from actually going to a theater, and then they just all closed down, at least in our area. So we watched Bloodshot on home during what I assume might be the first test bed of theater to direct download.
Yeah,
movie.
The Invisible Man,
Emma, Onward,
The Hunt.
The Hunt, yeah. Obviously Bloodshot, and then there's like two more. Because I saw this on Amazon Prime, and they actually have... It's their new like category, like it's something theaters or in cinema. I think was they said these are movies that are in cinema right now. Watch them at home, even though they're literally not in cinemas because they're all closed. I digress, though. I think that's
beginning of the end.
Maybe.
Well, you can listen to our other episode about that.
Exactly on the Sonic Movie Show. So yeah, we saw it digitally on home. We each spent $20 because social distancing meant that we couldn't go together to see Bloodshot. Today's episode of Bloodshot's review is going to be split up into, I guess, 2-3 segments. At the very least, we're going to do our non-spoiler thoughts up front, and then we're going to jump into a spoilerific, as much as you could think could be spoilerific for a movie like this, you know. So, Devin, you tell me your experience with discovering this film, this whole thing.
My initial feelings were all right. I don't think it's anything special.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie would have been fantastic in like 2009. Like I think it's not. It hasn't revolutionized any way of or any sort of way of how we make superhero movies or anti-hero movies, anything like this. I feel like everything's been done before because we're still going to get more. And I trust Marvel to change it up or do something different. They have the recipe. I don't think Bloodshot really followed that recipe. It tried to do its own thing. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it wasn't good. I think it was just all right. I had fun. That's what counts, I guess.
Yeah.
I had fun. And I'll also say this. I don't think Vin Diesel was the problem in this film. I think there was other issues that we can talk about more once we do our spoiler review, in my opinion. I think it was less on the actors and more of just like the story. I mean, the plot was fine, but I just think the overall like flow of the movie, the story just wasn't, something was missing. I don't know what it was.
So you think the pacing was off?
Yeah, that's how there's points where I'm like, wait, what? Wait, why? Huh? And I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. I mean, it's cool. I guess I don't need to know. Then I had more questions. Like, does Vin get sick? But I guess that does, like, That's just little stuff that doesn't really matter, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There was some stuff where I just felt like it didn't really build up to anything either. I guess that's more spoilery stuff, but it was a fine ride. It wasn't like if I was going to compare it to a roller coaster, it's one of the old roller coasters that
One of the wooden ones.
This one's that. Not saying it's bad, but there's no loops. There's no like you. It's fine. You know what I mean? It's not anything amazing. You'll ride it again maybe, but
yeah. I mean, it's predictable until it decides it doesn't want to be, but then it's just predictable again. So, yeah. I mean, in my opinions of the film, I watched this film. I started watching this movie at 11:30 at night. I stopped at like 1:30, I guess, if it was 2 hours.
It's an hour 48, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I also had to pause it a couple times to pick up and throw my cat out the window. But they just keep coming in. No, the movie to me was kind of just like... I struggle, honest to God, I struggle to have opinions about this movie. I wanted to blame it on just like potential tiredness, but I was pretty lucid the whole time paying attention to the movie. I honestly was just like, oh, this is just a movie I'm watching. This is, and he's doing the thing, and this guy's over here doing this thing, and okay, like, I don't even know, like, I'm honestly struggling to even come to criticism on a movie I don't even think is very good. That's just the effect the movie had on me.
To me, it would have been a great movie for like 2009 in theaters, or this movie could have been great on like the Sci-Fi Channel. That's kind of how like it had a small budget, which we'll talk about in a sec before we go into our spoilers. I'll break down like actors and directors and all that. But
okay,
because I think there's some reasonings to why maybe this movie isn't as
the movie was small. But I think it was trying to not feel that way, and I think it should have just leaned in. I think a lot about the original Deadpool movie, what a small movie that was, and it felt small. And it wasn't trying to be this grand thing. Bloodshot is trying to be a much, much, much grander, like, world-building kind of thing. It makes you want to ask questions about, like, why things are happening, but it has no intentions on answering them. Now, I understand this is like based off a comic book, and I have a feeling that the movie did not entail the entirety of the comic book. I assume it's finished, but like, are they going to do a sequel to Bloodshot? I didn't get the feeling that was going to be that
now
way.
At the money it's not going to make, regardless if this movie was a masterpiece or not.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like Vin Diesel was good at being what we know of Vin Diesel as. I feel like the other actors were fine. There was too many of them in certain parts and not enough in other parts. They try to do this thing where like some characters are like aloof and you're like, oh, they're mysterious or blah, blah, blah. And then the ultimate result is I actually just don't care about them. So when they come back later and they're like, actions, words, I'm like, oh, okay. That's right, you were over there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. This movie, I don't regret not seeing it. Wait, is that what I wanted to say? I don't regret seeing it. I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I watched this Vin Diesel movie. And it's not just because we do a podcast on Vin Diesel. There were a few parts about it in terms of the animation, or the one thing in particular I actually really appreciated, which you probably have an understanding of what that might be, based off a text I sent you. So, like, I think these things are cool, but it's never a movie I would ever see again. I own this on Amazon.
Well, you own it. You own it, dude.
I spent more on this movie than Batman v Superman. And that's a movie I didn't want to see again, but I spent the money.
I was going to say the effects are good. That was one thing I forgot to say was I feel like for the budget, so the budget's $45 million. The effects, I feel like it really didn't look like that kind of budget. Like I've seen movies with bigger budgets look worse. Granted, how many
Justice
scenes?
League. It was $300 million. And but you've seen Henry Cavill's face, where they digitized his mustache off. They spent $300 million on his face.
I was just gonna say, like, it just. I will give him credit for that. When we talk about people who made this film, you're gonna. I think there's a reason why it looks good.
Okay.
There's a couple storylines.
Why don't you hit
here.
me with some of
You want to
some
just jump
of the
in?
people? Yeah.
All right, so Bloodshot is directed by Dave Wilson. You're probably wondering, who's Dave Wilson? Well, you probably won't know him because this is his first big movie as a director.
Okay.
He also directed Love, Death, and Robots. He did one episode.
Okay.
But can you guess where his career was before this? From 2003?
His career?
Yeah.
From 2003 to now?
Yeah, can you guess what like his main thing was?
Ooh.
Like in terms of movie making. Yeah, in terms of movie making or just media making in general. Just like, you have a director, you have a producer, you have an editor.
Oh, I would say not cinematographer, was he?
No, visual effects. He has 16 credits.
Okay.
But it's not in movies. It's in video games. Mostly.
Did he work at Blur?
Yes.
Okay, because I kind of get that. Okay.
The Division he worked on, Star Wars: The Old Republic. He worked on. He was part of the creative supervisor for Avengers: Age of Ultron, Elder Scrolls Online, BioShock Infinite, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2, Mass Effect 2, Halo Wars, Company of Heroes, and guess what? Short he worked on.
No,
I don't know if you remember the name.
What is it?
Go for Broke. And do you know who directed that?
Oh my God! Yes.
Jeff Fowler, who directed Sonic the Hedgehog. Full tie-in, baby.
Wow.
Everything
So
we do is on purpose.
Bloodshot movie podcast, like series now.
I'm just saying, how crazy is that it ties into that? See, that means something. That means we're going where we need to go.
I was actually going to guess
knows.
Blur, either Blur or he worked with Neil Blomkamp. Those are my two guesses. Huh.
And his first ever thing he worked on, I guess, was in 1988. At least what IMDb says. I don't know why there's a huge gap. But he said he worked on David Bowie's Glass Spider. He was a camera operator.
Huh.
There you go.
Interesting.
But yeah, this is his first big movie besides video games. Because he worked on like the trailer, the cinematic of the trailers for The Division and stuff like that.
Yeah. Blur does a lot of CG. Basically, it's just CG trailers for companies.
So I was going to say, I feel like one big thing they did well with this film was I think the effects looked pretty dope for a small budget. Like, I don't know where they got that money from. I don't know if someone worked under the table or something, or he did it personally. Maybe he was the one doing all the animation.
Could
So
be.
he didn't have to pay anybody. I don't know, but because there's some moments when we talk about the spoilers that I'm like, damn, that actually looks really, really good. Because I was expecting not too hot CG.
It did go back and forth between what I would think would be very good for a video game graphics to also like uncanny film CG. But like, I also really like video games and video game graphics. So like, I actually did like it. But I can definitely see a lot of people being like, oh man, this is totally, you can totally tell that this is bad CG. You know what I mean? There are
I hate people
like
say that when it's like, and it'll be like a giant crocodile. I'm like, no shit, it's not real.
Because I mean, that's
King
part of the
Ghidorah and
part.
Godzilla doesn't look good. It's a giant monster. Nothing in our real world looks like that.
Alita's eyes are too big and they look bad. It's like a lot of this stuff, like, because we don't see anything like this in reality. People have seen the shot in the trailer where like what looks like dust is like forming back onto Vin Diesel, right? That doesn't happen in real life. So your brain automatically knows that that's not real. And so it's just a lot easier for you to be like, oh, that looks bad because it doesn't look real. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, if they, I'm sure lots of movies we've seen CGI'd rocks besides the original Star Wars films, and you wouldn't even know because you've seen rocks, So
yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely been times where I'm like, CG, I guess could have been like maybe the lighting's off on it, which makes it look faker, quotes. But there's some people I feel like will just be like, it just looks bad. I'm like, but what's bad about it? Oh, it's just not realistic. Yeah, no shit.
That's why we use puppets now again. None of the effects were any sort of negative on this movie, in my opinion.
That's what I would say. I would put it as a positive. I put it as a positive.
If it didn't have the effects, I would be completely bored of this film.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's one thing that kept me going.
In another world, this film is like just a spy thriller with no no like effects, and this is extremely boring. But
Yeah, so that's Dave Wilson.
yeah.
Now we'll go through some of the actors. We know Vin.
Do we?
But we do. Well, maybe not fully yet. Find out in 3 years. Then we have Isa Gonzalez. She's been in, we were just talking about it, Alita Battle Angel. She's, can't pronounce his name, Nisyana. She's the, when Alita first gets in a big fight, she's that one wearing the red cloak, and she, like, has, like, she's like a spider.
Oh, yeah.
She's just like a face, basically, and everything else
and
is
then,
mechanical. That's her.
What's his name? Blows her up. Right?
Yes, yeah. That's her. She's also in Hobbs and Shaw.
You're right. She's
the Russian.
Yeah.
I think she was Russian. She's in Baby Driver as Darling. She is
a movie I can't ever see again, but I liked it. Disappointing.
She's in From Dusk Till Dawn, the series, and a couple other movies. I guess she's kind of making a lot of big movies now. She's also going to be in Godzilla vs. Kong, so I'll take that. And then Guy Pearce from Iron Man
3. That's his
Aldrich
name. I always
Killian.
forget. Yes. He was a surprise actor for me. I'm like, oh, I know him. And he's talking like the guy. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's been a lot of TV shows and stuff. So Sam Hugan, he is in a TV show called Outlander.
Is he just the very stereotypical Marine looking dude?
He's the one with the spoilers. He's one of his friends. Not friends, but like one of his. Yeah, he's one of them. He's one of those.
Yeah.
Dudes.
Okay.
Other enhanced person. I don't really recognize him in anything else here. I've seen Outlander on like Netflix. The Spy Who Dumped Me. He's in that. Okay. So yeah. So the actors, I feel like most of these actors here have been in other stuff. Obviously, Vin Diesel is the main guy. He's the one that's getting you the tickets or lack thereof right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that once again, this is for a small budget, and this is a first-time director. I'm going to give him a pass for making a film that, like, all things considered, it's not great, it's not good, it's all right, but it's not bad. It could have easily been bad, I think.
It looked like it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Based off trailers and just how corny the tagline or whatever you want to call it is, where it's like something about he's a different classic hero or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, but I don't think the movie was terrible by any means. It was serviceable. It did the things I expected it to do a little bit better than how I was begrudgingly assuming it was going to be. So it was good for a first attempt as a film director. Obviously, we all can't be Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, in terms of actual real first
I wonder
shots.
if they text. I wonder if they're like, "Yo, good luck this month." Like, I wonder if Jeff reached out to me like, "Hey, I hope you make as much money as I do." I don't know. I wonder. Yeah, I always wonder.
Never
Like,
will
these
happen.
people. I'm assuming the Go for Broke was a smaller group of people. They could be buddies. It's also the same studio, original film. One of the studios that worked on it was original film.
Yeah, well, isn't original film also works on a lot of the Fast and Furious movies as well as Vin Diesel's production company, which is called One Race, which is both a play on the racing and the fact that we are all people. But I guess this is a quick side, but like, imagine if the Sonic movie got delayed again. It would have died. It would have died to the virus.
What would we do with this show if, let's say, like that movie came out in, like, let's say it was supposed to come out in March, because we were only a month off. Really, if you think about it, imagine.
Yeah,
we waited a whole 8 months, and then it got delayed till November again, a whole year later.
I know what that is.
I don't know
like.
if we would have made it through.
Literally a decade ago, I used to listen to a pair of podcasts. This was when I was really first getting on the internet for real, really looking at stuff other than Googling for things and looking up cheat codes.
Hot babes.
That too. I had my ability to listen to podcasts, and so I'm like, oh, I want to listen to podcasts, but you're doing the thing where you're you don't really know what this medium or what you do with this. So I would just search for things I liked. So I searched Kingdom Hearts, found a Kingdom Hearts podcast. They also did a Final Fantasy podcast. This is a decade ago when there was like no hope of a new Kingdom Hearts. Final Fantasy games kept getting delayed forever. And God bless this boy and this girl, just this couple of kids doing a weekly podcast about nothing. And they managed to make it work for years. So, and I listened every week. Do I remember any of it? No, not really. But that's how I actually learned about Nier, by the way, was through that podcast. But so we could definitely have tried. I feel like a couple of our episodes have gotten there.
Do you want to... I think we should move into spoilers now. I think...
final spoilery thoughts. Do we recommend the movie?
Give me a ranking out of 10.
If I were to give this a score out of 10?
Yeah.
5.5. Straight up.
I'm give it a 6.
5.5 out of 10, 6, yeah.
What's funny is IMDb gives it a 5.7, so it's like the perfect medium between our scores.
Yeah. If this movie is on TV, watch it. As long as you don't have anything better to do. This is a good movie to have on in the background.
If this isn't on FX by the end of the year, I'll be disappointed. It's gotta be on FX.
It'll be on HBO like by Tuesday, I'm sure. It has fun moments, and if you catch them, that's great. It has a lot of moments that are really serviceable for you to look on your phone a lot and do other things without feeling guilty about missing things. So this is a good movie to have on in the background. I don't know. Any other way to describe the film?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you're a Diesel head, obviously this is a must-watch. If you don't care...
fair.
If you don't care, I guess you could survive without seeing this film. I think if you like superhero movies, sure. Why not? It ain't going to be an Iron Man or a Spider-Man Homecoming. I would put it in the same realm. I'm trying to think of like a Marvel movie to compare it to. It's hard to.
The Incredible Hulk. A completely 100% mediocre film.
Yes. I was going to say Thor, but Thor was at least genuinely funny.
The people were likable in it.
There's some humor in this film, but it's not Marvel level where like you weren't like, I wasn't like, woo, that's a good one.
To me, it was just like brain releases a couple endorphins to levy the mood. That's what my reaction was, you know.
And I will say, once again, this wasn't because of Vin Diesel. This, like, once we go in the spoilers here, there's more to it.
It was in spite of Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Well, I guess spoiler time. So if you haven't seen this movie and you want to see it before you hear more thoughts about a movie we just called mediocre, instead of keep it on TV and don't pay for it, I guess, you know, we'll catch you back on the flip side. Welcome back to Bloodshot Review. We're going to talk about spoilers. I don't even know where I want to begin.
Hey, you're usually the guy. You're usually our guy to like.
Okay,
I'll break
it down.
Do you remember?
I'll do a honestly.
I did write some stuff down, but I tailed off like around the probably like.
All right, I'm going to keep it real loose, fucking loose. If I miss,
I'll try to fill you
things.
in.
I watched it most recently. If you can. If I miss certain things, it's fine. If a couple scenes are out of order, whatever, the general gist, right? Movie opens up. We have our classic military hero. He's walking through Skull Town on Kings Canyon in Apex Legends, and he sees a dog. He sees these bogeys, and he does this thing, and he's inside the building. There's a hostage, right? There's a hostage in the chair, and the guy is holding her at gunpoint. He tells Vin Diesel to put his gun down. Vin very obviously looks to his left and sees that there's a telephone. He puts the gun down. He does clever, we don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm just gonna win anyway. Kind of American bravado in our military. Wins, gets the girl. Then we cut to them just being back at base, and it's a really, really, really cringy and embarrassing thing where Vin Diesel's like, no sacrifice too great, no mission too dangerous, or whatever, and they're all like, yeah, like, okay, we get it. You guys are...
Yeah, I would say, like, if I come back, I don't know about you. I mean, we both haven't done any sort of military anything in our lives. My family, I guess, comes from more of a military background, but no one ever comes back like after he killed like 15 people,
right?
No one comes back like, hell yeah, brother. Most soldiers, I think, don't like what they do.
Yeah.
Or the fact, being like,
or at the very least, don't like the fact that they have to do that kind of stuff to, in their mind,
the soldiers I imagine that like do that are ones who actually have never seen combat. To
me, and I might be speaking ignorantly here.
That's what I'm saying. I feel ignorant.
But to me, this is the type of view on American military that is framed 100% by Michael Bay and Call of Duty. People sitting at home being like, yeah, these are our troops, we're coming back. I just got a kill streak. You know what I mean? Like this. That's what this feels like. That like they're like excited about their stats going up, kind of like, oh yeah, we got those Iraqis, or you know what I mean, or whatever.
Got Bin Laden.
It's like there's even a freaking Bin Laden joke. Like, come on, it's been a decade, but not really a decade, but it's close to it. I don't know. Anyway, they're home. He sees his wife. I forget her name. Whatever. She seemed very oh yeah, from afar. Because okay, here's another thing that this type of romanticization about the United States military soldiers, and I am not talking bad about our actual soldiers in real life. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want this to be distant. Okay, the romanticization about these people versus the actual people, you know, overseas or whatever, separate conversations, right? Talking simply about how they're portrayed in films.
Gina was her name, by the way.
Gina. I thought her name was Tina. Whatever. There is a romanticization about when the soldier comes home and he has his wife, the woman he comes back to, the reason why he's fighting. Maybe there's a kid, maybe not. And these movies love to do this where you don't see her face. You just see the sunlight through her blonde hair for hours, it feels like, before they actually do anything about it, because this is what it's all about. This, you know what I mean? It's just whatever. They do that. You first see her face from afar, and I shit you not, I thought it was Ivanka Trump at first. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm glad it's not. Whatever. They're home. They're home. You know, they have sex. She wakes up the next morning.
But yeah, that whole scene, by the way, wasn't there candles in some sort of scene or something in one of the Fast movies? I think Vin... I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Because you saw him wear like a white tank top, and you just
when
linen.
He did that, I'm like, is this Dominic Toretto?
Right.
I don't know.
He wakes up. She's not there. Oh no! People have come to attack him, and then they knock him out. And he wakes up.
Oh, they were in Italy, by the way. It was like a vacation.
Okay,
that wasn't their home, I guess. I don't know.
Then you know what? That makes sense because the bathroom was like not well kept. That was definitely like a Airbnb, rest in peace. Airbnb is like completely shuttered. And landlords are pissed. I love it. Yeah, okay, so they're in Italy or whatever. They kidnap him. He wakes up in a chair, and just the corniest, the stupidest, I'm a bad guy, and I have the music.
They should have had Billie Eilish as this bad guy in there.
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy.
But it's just like, oh man,
Might
this is a Deadpool villain. Because he's having a good time and he's about to do bad things, you know. It's terrible. This guy's.
But later on in the movie, they kind of make fun of it.
I get it. I get that it was like supposed to be designed by someone that doesn't really understand any of the way that would work in real life, whatever. But like this dipshit, he's moseying on over. He's not even really dancing all that well.
Martin Axe.
Sure, Martin Axe. Actor or character?
Character.
All right, Martin Axe. He's jimmying on over. He turns the music down or whatever, and it's just a boring, just interrogation scene. I watched Mission Impossible 3 the other night. It opens with an interrogation scene, and it's fucking awesome. This was extremely boring. And it's just, I don't have the information. And the guy's like, oh, I believe you. I'm going to kill her anyway. He kills her. And then they kill Vin Diesel, whatever. He shoots him blank in the face. Then Vin Diesel wakes up, and we're in the current day. We're not in that era of his life or whatever. He wakes up, and Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3 is there. He's got a robot hand, and he's
Dr.
like...
Emil Harting.
I didn't even know his name.
I just have the IMDb thing up. Makes it easier.
I see, I already forgot. I'm going to call him Guy Pearce if that's okay with you. Guy Pearce is there. He's got a robot hand. Pretty dope-looking robot hand, I'm not going to lie. And he's like, oh, wake up. Are you okay? Are you okay, man? Are you okay? You're awake. Oh, it's the first time we've ever done this. It's so cool. Vin Diesel's like, what the fuck? I don't know. God, this is an extremely boring way of recapping this movie. Basically, all these people are there. There's
KT.
There's Guy Pearce. There's KT. That's not her name. That's just her initials. Huh? Comic book quirk. And then there's two other guys. One guy has no legs. The other guy has no eyes. And they're all enhanced in certain ways. KT has basically... if you remember X-Men Days of Future Past, and you remember when they go in the past to the 70s, and there's the... I forgot what the giant robots are called in the X-Men universe. There's just a big circular vent on their chest. She has one of those. That was my first thought. It's one of those things. So she can breathe. I feel like there'd be an easier way of doing that, but whatever. I literally know nothing about robotics. They're all welcoming him, but he's like, I don't know what, blah, 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 blah. And then Guy Pearce cuts his hand to show that, like, oh, there's nanomachines in your blood. Actually, they are your blood.
What the hell, Doc?
And there's your line. Or that'd be actually great where he says, stop looking at my ass. Or whatever. That was another guy.
I was going to say, before we continue, Bryn was saying, like the ocular prosthetics that one guy had, who can, like, he sees with, like, cameras, like, on him or whatever. I guess it's a thing that they're actually working on, that people have been trying to work on. So, like, a lot of this stuff, she was saying that is stuff that scientists and doctors have been working on. So this is actually kind of realistic in the sense of maybe we want to have some of this kind of stuff in the next 10 years or so.
It makes sense.
That was cool.
Nothing about it seemed like it was this fantasy, right? Except obviously Vin Diesel. That'll never happen. At least I hope not. I'd rather be dead than be that for the rest of my life. And he doesn't want to be a part of it, but he kind of wants to. But he doesn't know who he is, right? He doesn't know anything about himself. And they take him through and they show him the facility, and they're all doing stuff. And later that night, he goes and works out and realizes that he's fucking jacked. I mean, clearly he is, but he's some of the weights. I'm like, I feel like you could have just done this normally without any of this stuff if you looked like Vin Diesel. But I digress. KT is swimming. Is she able to hold her breath that long underwater with her prosthetics?
No, because the thing is, I think it filters out that, because they mentioned that she's used during, like, there's some sort, like, she was in Syria during, like, some sort of chemical warfare battle thing.
Right.
And that's, so she can breathe.
Was the term, but I didn't realize it filtered the oxygen out of the water.
I think it, yeah.
Because if that's the case, I totally install it straight into my sternum. I'll do that.
You want to be able to just be underwater all the time?
Forever? What's that? Essentially, you don't need to breathe? It'd be great.
Your skin would be, like, wrinkly as fuck.
I mean, so you whatever, man. You're probably in the ocean at that point. Seeing Aquaman. And speaking about terrible CG films that spent way more money than Bloodshot. Okay, well then I take it back. Then that's a cool prosthetic to have. I'd rather be dead, though. She gets out of the pool, and they're talking, and she gives him this, like, coin that says, oh, they gave this to me, now I'm giving it to you. You're part of the family. Yay.
I wish it was a Bitcoin.
It'd be funny.
But, like, obviously they're not physical, but I just want... She's like, here's a Bitcoin. He's like, I thought these are only, like, virtual. And she's like, nah, Not in this timeline.
Not here.
Not here.
We replaced the United States economy with Bitcoin. Now they make physical Bitcoins.
And she looks at the camera and she's like, "Thanks, Trump."
So they're in the kitchen/bar area or whatever, and they have a drink, and they clink it, and they drink, and now he's remembering certain aspects about the beginning of this film, like how he was in Skulltown from Apex Legends, killing Iraqis or whatever, because that's what we do.
Apex Legends.
Straight up, that's what my initial thought was. It was like, wow, he's in Kings Canyon. Yeah, and he punches a wall or whatever. Oh, also earlier, he speed bags. He punches through a speed bag. So then he starts like boxing a load-bearing pillar. Now, hear me out.
I thought the ceiling was going to collapse.
Hear me out. Spoilers for the other part of this podcast where we talk further about this movie. This is on repeat, this whole like sequence. So do they fix the pillar every time? Or do they just hope he doesn't kill them?
They paint over it.
Yeah. Maybe they purposely make it seem like it's really easy to break. So he's like, oh, no, I know who killed my wife, Karina, or whatever her name was. I'm going to go and get my revenge.
Karina. It's Gina.
Yeah, sure. So he has these nanobots, nanomachines, nanites, whatever they're called, in his blood. They are his blood. That correction is made several times in the film. And they're doing all sorts of things, such as like healing him really fast, and that's all they actually say until later when they're really excited and shocked that he's accessing their computers with the nanomachines to Google search people. But he finds where this person is. Long story short, he finds where this person is. They're tracking Vin Diesel, Guy Pearce, all just killing it from Iron Man 3, who had heat hands in that film. Now he has a robot hand. Is like, hey man, don't do this. I don't want you to do this. I'm Guy Pearce, actor. And Vin Diesel's like, I can fly a plane. So he flies a plane over to wherever the stupid...
Yeah, I think it was in Hungary or something. I don't know where it was.
Mark Axton or whatever your guy's
Or it might have been
was.
London. It was London.
Wherever they have flour, I guess. Lots and lots of flour. And he intercepts them in a tunnel. There's the convoy of cars, and Mark Axton, or whatever his name was in one of the cars. Vin Diesel's just in a gigantic truck. I think the truck was full of flour.
Yeah.
Hits whatever, right? And then it's now it's revenge time, and Vin Diesel's just fucking everyone up. But they're getting a couple shots on him, and that's how we kind of learn, a bit of his self. Whenever he gets shot, like his face and his blood and all that fly out, but then the nanomachines just straight up put him back together. I imagine some of the flour got inside of him. You would imagine, right?
For sure.
Ugh, gross, disgusting.
I was gonna say, I think this is the best scene in the film. I feel like it dragged out a little bit too long, but I'll take it. Because I did like the it matched the color scheme of the poster of because the original comic books, he's all like covered almost in like flour, I guess. He's like painted white or something in the comic books, and he has the
ashes
Bloodshot.
of his wife and daughter.
Yeah, it's just Kratos. But no, he has like in the comic books, I'm not sure what he has like an actual like painted red circle, but in this, obviously, it's like all the nanomites glowing and whatnot. But I feel like they used that color scheme well, though. Like everything was foggy, kind of from the flour, and I like the red. Yeah, they were using from the flares, and then also Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, the truck crashes, right, and the people that didn't die in the first car get out, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on? Did he do that on purpose? He did that on purpose. To the driver did it on purpose." And like these are just the nicest people in the world because they're throwing so many flares in spots just to light up the whole scene so that we can follow the action better later when the action starts. Yeah.
But I let it pass because it looked cool. I like the color scheme.
I mean, it made sense for them too. They would want to be able to see, so it's not like it's a CinemaSins nitpick that's pedantic and dumb. But Vin Diesel fucks them all up. He does the thing in the trailer where he draws a smiley face in a window through the flour. That's all cute. And now, this is actually, I want to give this movie a little bit of credit. I understand it was going in a direction that I kind of think undermines it a bit. But there's been a lot of movies, books, games, whatever, where a guy has to get his revenge. And and in movies, because we have a general length of a film is kind of set, right? Generally speaking. When our hero who wants revenge on the antagonist comes in contact with the antagonist early on, there's always something. He gets away, he's outnumbered, maybe he thinks he's too strong, or maybe he thinks he's just so strong, but in actuality he gets overpowered by all of them or something like that, and the guy gets away. And a lot of these things I've always wanted to see, like, what if he actually just gets his revenge right then and there, and then we just get to see what happens afterwards, right? And he does. He kills the guy. And I think the filmmaking, the writing suffers a bit. I understand this is based off a comic book, but the writing generally of the story kind of suffers a bit, because when your protagonist completes the one objective he has, and he literally has nothing else, the moments afterwards, usually movies end because it's at the end of the film, but the moments afterwards are really important to kind of show, like, what is this guy about? What's he going to do? And he just goes home, and there's nothing. He doesn't even look, like, horrified, shocked. There's no emotions really on him. He flew a plane back. He got back. And then they intercept him or whatever, and then they're cleaning up after him. But so there's been a long stretch of time between him killing the guy who murdered his wife and then him coming back, and then there's just nothing really there.
It's
obviously the movie
Terminator-esque,
continues,
but I guess maybe he's just like, this is pure
but
anger.
he's just anger, and now it's done. But like, usually in films where there is, high stakes, we're going after this guy, we're doing this thing, we could all die or we could save everyone. There's usually like comments, banter, something back and forth where at one point someone's like, so what are you going to do after this? So what are, I don't know what I'm going to do after this, or something like that. I mean, there's none of this kind of stuff. So then when we do get after it, it's like, I don't know. The film has the problem at the end of it too. The end, he's like, I guess we just go anywhere. And it's kind of meant to be like, oh, they're free. They're free. But at the same time, they literally have no aspirations for anything. They have no personalities. They have no goals. They have no likes, no hobbies, no nothing. So I don't care, and I'm not excited to see what they would do next, Anyway, they intercept him at the airstrip. I said earlier that he flies back. He doesn't fly back. I'm sorry. He drives back to the plane.
Back. Yeah.
But there was a lot of time for him to...
He drives from... I don't know if they were in London or wherever they were, but he wound up in Hungary. That's where they said. That's where it said. It said Hungary. I wrote that down.
It was about this point in the film where I paused it, and Amazon Prime has the X-ray feature where they tell you the actors that are currently on screen. It lists Vin Diesel twice as the dude's name and also as Bloodshot. So I was a little bit confused. I'm like, wait, is he going to be hopping back and forth? And I guess he is. That was a bit of a spoiler, I guess, for Amazon's point. But the Marine dude with no legs and the guy that can see through his nipples, they go to clean
Jimmy
up.
Dalton, yeah, and I'm trying to think of the other guy.
Eye-nips.
Eric or Merc?
Something. Honest to God.
Oh, no, Eric is...
Guy
Never
Pearce.
mind, don't worry about it. Keep going.
So they're all back, and earlier... Okay, so Vin Diesel is very special, right? The nanites, they put him in rats and stuff, but they always heat up and kill the host. But for the first time ever, they can have it be on a recharge cycle where, like, he doesn't have to die, right? So, but he expended so much energy, so now he needs to recharge. So, Marine Legs takes him, and he sets him on the thing, and he's on, like, a table or whatever, and he shuts him off. And now he's, like, being bad guy now. And I got confused.
Well, they hinted at it right before that scene started where he puts the gum underneath the table and you see that there's other gum there. So, like, he's done this shit before.
See, my thought when that happened was, oh, is this a quirk or whatever? Like, oh, that's not sanitary. But I guess that's 5-minute foreshadowing. Okay. And Vin Diesel can't move or react, and he's like, I'm sick, and he's jealous, basically. Cause
that's the kind of vibe I got from him. I don't know why. Like, I wish we knew why he was jealous. Like, I want more.
Because none of these people have personalities. None of
them.
They
needed to show something that showed why he was jealous. Like, he should have been like the first one they made. He used to be
even
like,
if it was just comments of like, why was it you? Why couldn't it have been me? I could have had this stuff in me too. Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it could have been that. They could have passed on him, and for Vin Diesel or whatever. But in any case, he shuts him off, reboots him, and they go through the cycle again. But this is the one part I actually appreciated about the film, is that they actually showed how they made the scene. The whole beginning of this movie was essentially like a video game, essentially.
Basically, yeah. Bunch of cutscenes. That's all you remember.
I've made Counter-Strike maps in Source, so I've seen interfaces that look a lot like what they showed. They did seem like actually like this would be legitimate software for level creation or model making or whatever, and they actually were editing it. You know, they put blood splatter on the phone, maybe to hide it a bit better. I don't know. It seemed like the tweaks they were making literally didn't matter, since it always seems to be working. But whatever. He goes through the whole process again, except there's one major change, is that the face of the guy that kills his wife and then him is now a different person. And this person, by the way, your Mark Axton, the first guy that killed his wife, calls him on the phone when he's in the car or whatever, and I was confused as to what they were talking about. Sucks to that guy, and we don't even know if he was a bad guy or not, but he got murdered by Vin Diesel. So new guy with the beard kills him and his wife. He wakes up and they start the cycle all over, but what's her name? Aqualung. You know, she's
Katie,
all of a sudden now, Katie, she now gets a conscience, and she's like, oh, it's been working so far forever. We don't even know how long they've been doing this, but like it's been working, and everyone's making lots of money, and we're all happy. We don't know why they're killing.
Are they making money? That's a good point. They never really show why. Like, besides,
I don't know,
because later on,
why are they even there?
Well, later on, Guy Pearce basically has a quid pro quo with her, being like, if you don't do what I tell you, you're gonna die.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just having them all threatened, but I feel like the guy that has no legs can still sit in a wheelchair and get out that way. But
he's like, I'll cut off your arms too.
Yeah. I mean, the guy with no eyes, especially since
that's kind of
has
tough.
a prosthetic to be able to see. It's not like he's used to being blind. So, but she gains a heart because after 20 times or however long it's been of having a drink with Vin Diesel, she finds like maybe he doesn't deserve just endless rage. She tries to break the cycle, but it doesn't really work out. I think that's when Guy Pearce is like, I just shut off your ability to breathe. Listen,
I feel like yeah, that's when they. I think that was later on, because they send Vin to go kill Beardman.
You're right.
At the compound. And that's where we also meet Wilfred Wiggins, who's like the best coder ever.
Oh my god.
And he's better than the other nerd kid that they showed, who was supposed to be the comic relief.
But he wasn't.
But that's not really his fault. Like, once again, half the reasons things didn't like hit well was, I think, just the pacing of the film. Some of the dialogue they were given just wasn't. It was just predictable or just boring.
Yeah.
So, like I said, none of the actors I feel like did bad by any means.
Guy Pearce did a good job. Vin Diesel did Vin Diesel. Honest to God, everyone else I did not like.
Really? I thought they did fine. I'm not saying they did like amazing. There was none that I was like. But I think more of it has to do with the writing and the direction. That's why they're boring. I don't think they had anything to do with the actors themselves. Like, there was never a time where they said something and I'm like, ooh, that line just seems bad, or like they read it bad.
I guess my counter argument to that is a good actor can take something, a bad line, and deliver it well. Batman v Superman is a bad movie. All of those actors are top tier, and they do the best with what they got, and you don't hate them at all. So,
I guess.
But no, yeah, I agree with you though. Like the rating was poor, and it didn't give them much to work with.
And the pacing, like I said, so like all those jokes that should have probably been funnier, just felt out of place. Like they didn't really.
It seemed like they were written by someone that didn't actually like want to like really make sure he was making people laugh. I don't know.
He's like comic relief.
Yeah. Anyway, Vin Diesel's on to his next target. The cycle continues, and just as it's always planned that Vin Diesel hijacks the plane, I guess to be a stupid nitpicking douchebag. When it happens the first time in the film, we don't know this. So then, but why are all of the people talking to each other as if they're surprised he got into their entire server bank and is Googling things? They're acting like, oh, he's doing this and this. He's doing them all one by one. It's just... But whatever. It's meant to make us not realize that. But they also had an opportunity to be kind of creepy with it. Like, why are these people, like, not shocked that he's hacking their entire computer with his nanobytes or something? You know what I mean? But whatever.
To me, that was more scary than the fact that you can't kill him. The fact that he can just find you. Like, imagine if someone said, okay, Vin, you need to go find Ethan. I mean, like, what would you do? You knew, like, especially if you knew what he could do. One, you can't kill him. Two, he can find you wherever you are if you're using any sort of electronic. Like, and that's like, and nowadays, like, it's so much harder to be off the grid than it is to be on it. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was cool. They could have done something more with that. Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then like they kind of just are like, yeah, he can do it. Okay, let's move on. And I'm like, what? Like, no, I want to know.
You know what the nanomachines remind me of? You never played it, but Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, everything in that game, the reason is just nanomachines. All the soldiers have nanomachines. Snake has nanomachines. The bad guys nanomachines. All the guns are controlled by chips that are ID'd to your nanomachines. The nanomachines this, and the nanomachines can do that, and this and that, and this. And it just seems like we have a new thing that Vin Diesel and the nanites can do. We're not going to actually explain why. We're not going to give these defined rules or anything like that. It's just he has magic blood, essentially.
Yeah.
These nanomachines can do fucking everything. They're a hive mind. They are Vin Diesel. They're also not Vin Diesel. They are also smarter than Vin Diesel, but he's also the smart one. Like, he doesn't need to actually think about doing any of the things he's doing. They're just happening, He is basically a fucking god, and he's standing next to a dude that has, like, metal plates for legs. Like, the difference between these two, it's like, come on. If you can design these nanomachines to, like, be his blood and be him, you can't make nanomachines, like, complete an exoskeleton for a guy that can't walk. Or, like, replace a man's eyeballs completely. I bet you could do that.
Well, I think they were saying that they were older. Like, they've been in that state for a while, but maybe that's where some of the jealousy comes from. I don't know. Once again, not great writing.
No.
So like some of these things were like, oh, I feel like they could have done a better job. I don't know.
Vin Diesel is in the chateau where his next victim is, his next target or whatever. He's taking out guys. He pretends to get captured so he can get in there sooner. Bad guy, I believe, knows the dude is coming, so he has Wiggins, get an EMP, and they're gonna do it, but he doesn't want to do it, and blah 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 blah. Vin Diesel kills everyone. Wiggy is in a bunker. Wiggums, the cop from The Simpsons, uses the EMP and knocks everyone out, shuts all the cameras off, everything, so that they can't find Vin Diesel. He wakes Vin Diesel up with a car battery.
I was gonna say that they basically did a sonic EMP blast.
Yes.
It wiped out. Probably killed.
I want Dr. Robotnik to come and get punched in the face by John Marston. James Marston. Fuck.
How many times? You should do a compilation of just how many times you've messed that up. Man. It's funny. Maybe we can get him on the show and you can call him John the whole time until he corrects you. As a joke.
So Wiggums is talking to Vin, and they're expositioning each other. And Vin Diesel doesn't like this guy. You can tell. But we're meant to think that they're partners now, and that he likes him. Whatever. the EMP didn't destroy the phone that he gives Vin Diesel because he had it in a lead-lined fridge. That was actually a good exposition line that actually made sense.
I didn't know you could do that.
Indiana Jones survived a nuclear blast by jumping into a refrigerator. All right.
But that was also like that movie out of all the Indiana Jones movies was the least believable.
Fair enough. Knowledge was their treasure. Because the aliens, they wanted the knowledge.
God damn it.
I don't remember where we go next. He goes home? Does Vin Diesel go home?
No, he's on the run and they chase him down.
But where was he going?
I don't remember where he was going. That's a good question. That is a great question. He's on the run. And there's
he's in a car that has no electronics in it, so they can't find him. And
I think he was going to go back and just kill him. I think that was it, and he was just driving.
So they just got to him sooner. They capture him. I
like the bike that they had, and they had the cool drones.
Oh, that's right.
He shot the grenade launcher, and he
right.
thought it was grenades, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And then it turns into drones, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. There's some cool like tech stuff in this where I'm like, huh.
The blind guy is on a motorcycle, and Leggy is just running fast on his prosthetic legs, and he's chasing after Vin Diesel, who's just running.
They also were running I think they were supposed to be running super fast because they definitely.
There were times it didn't really seem like it, but
then there's other times where it did. They kind of sped it up. So
yeah.
they were going a good 25.
So they get him, whatever. The dude on the motorcycle stabs him in the back with a thing that shuts him off, which is cool. Okay. They're starting the cycle over, and then this is what you were saying. This is where Aqualung KT is like, I'm out. And then Guy Pearce is like, and you won't be breathing if you say that one more time.
And then she has to go kill
Wiggins.
Wilfred Wiggins, yeah.
Kill him, yes, because then after that they're like, I guess we have to make him the next target. Okay. You're right. You are correct on that. She does that. She lets him go because she wants him to help Vin Diesel.
But we don't really know that yet, kind of.
Right, even though we knew what her intentions were the whole time. Because if we're led to believe that this bland character all of a sudden grew a conscience and a heart for Vin Diesel, she wouldn't immediately get rid of it off screen. But whatever. That wasn't a surprise to me at all.
No. I mean, they were hinting at it from the very beginning, I guess.
Yeah. She got to use her ability because she had the toxic cigarettes or noxious cigarettes or whatever, and she filtered it all out. Vin Diesel is going through the reboot process, but she fucks with him a little bit so that he remembers all of the faces of the people he's killed. Whenever he starts to doubt himself. Oh, you know what? No. I know where he was going. After he gets the phone from Wiggums in the car or whatever, and he leaves. He's going to his wife's house.
That's right.
And he gets there, and she's excited that he's there,
but also not as if he ran into an old friend.
Yeah, even though they were boning forever, and he sees a kid, and my first thought is that he would be like, "Is that mine?" Because I clearly don't know what's going on, but I guess we're led to believe that no, that's her new husband, or at least her new baby daddy's child.
I want to know who she replaced Vin with, because you don't do Vin like that. Vin is family.
Non-committal, I guess. I don't know. The Rock.
That would have been hilarious if he opened it was The Rock who opens the door.
They didn't tell Vin Diesel, and they did a reshoot where they got her back, and they're like, "Oh, Dad's home, see?" And it's The Rock gets out of a car and walks up.
Or I would have done the scene like this where the door opens, he knocks on the door opens, and it's
they CGI him
The Rock in, and then he's like, "Who are you here for?" And then he's like, "Is Gina home?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get her." And that's it. They just shoot that, and they never see him again. How hilarious that would have been! Oh man. Or they just get the polar opposite. Or I just want the polar opposite of Vin Diesel, a short, chubby man with a full head of hair.
What? We're getting way too in the commitment here. We should just do a Rock podcast too.
Oh my! Let's see
Which
how
includes every single pay-per-view for WWE.
No, my God, we'll
that
never
he's
end,
ever
dude.
been in.
We'll never end.
I'm doing the eyebrows right now, Tevin.
I can't do it.
Okay, so fast forward back to where I was saying where she's helping him remember stuff. Then what happens?
Then he goes. That's when he got captured. After that, and then they're trying to reprogram him to go
After
capture
Wiggins.
After Wiggins.
Yeah, and then she's fucking with him
Yeah.
so that he remembers all the people that he's killed. And then he knows that it's all.
Well, it was a
lie or
counter
something.
hack by Wiggins
That
himself.
too.
Yeah.
It's just maybe it's just because I'm a dumb American, but I really don't understand the Londoner funny guy talk. I just don't.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind.
I'm just like, this is extremely corny. This is Doctor Who.
He didn't say
levels of
bruv
bad.
enough though.
God,
I think you just hate English people.
I probably.
It's the American in you.
I mean,
You're more of a patriot than I
Daniel
am.
Craig, Idris Elba, Sir Patrick Stewart.
But they're not really funny.
I guess that's fair.
They're made more for their. They're known more for their drama than their. When did Daniel Craig be like? I guess
you
maybe
saw Knives Out.
I was gonna say
Okay.
as
Of course,
I said it. I'm like,
but he's doing a Texas accent, which makes him funny. So I walk it back. British people aren't funny. At me,
our
please,
next
and tell me why I'm
episode,
wrong.
the Sonic movie show. British people aren't funny.
A quick
A
explainer
debate.
of why the Britons have no humor, besides Monty Python. Because that would be the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, so he doesn't. The reboot doesn't happen, but he comes back, and then we have some fight scenes between Vin and the other
When do they? Oh,
mech people.
that's right. Because then they're going down the building.
Because the one guy
'Cause
gets
they're
like
in that
arms.
tower.
Yeah, the other guy
Yeah.
gets like additional arms.
Which we saw
So-
a bit in the trailer, which I'm actually surprised now that I know that's like the end of the movie that they would put it in there. But yeah, now he has General Grievous arms.
I was gonna say he's more of a mech now. He's more robot
Yeah.
than he is man.
He looks like that video
Darth
game,
Vader.
The Surge, which is basically Dark Souls but mechs.
So they fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
and,
some.
and guess
beat
what?
the
The
shit out of
bad
each other.
guys who have no empathy for one another let each other die, and they kind of laugh at it, haha. Because Nips falls off the building, and General Grievous is like, you should have held on, you know.
Go to the escape. I don't. I forgot what they say in Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh, another lightsaber for my collection. And he jumps off.
It's basically Bane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bane with a cold.
Why was his heart so exposed? You couldn't put that in a lead case.
That's still one of the worst parts of Revenge of the Sith. They hyped him up so much, and then he dies in like the lamest way.
Yeah. Why does he have a heart? Put it
He
in
has
his
multiple
brain.
organs. Whatever.
I don't know. We should do a General Grievous podcast.
What would that even?
I don't know. We just talk about
Our
what
favorite
we think he's
lines,
like.
yeah.
Our fan fiction about him. We'll write a
Ooh.
fan fiction
And then we'll
make
read
this
it?
like a murder mystery podcast where it's a serialized thing, but it'll be a story about General Grievous and our fan fiction about him being our boyfriends.
Let us know if you would like to hear that in the comments below.
Please don't. Yeah. So, does General Grievous die at the base of this building?
He gets like super punched while they're falling down.
That's right. Oh, and Wiggity Whack is at his van, and he's like, "Oh, but Vin Diesel's energy is really going low." And like, I was under the impression that he would die because those are his fucking blood. But whatever. He's expending so much energy, and he's getting shotgunned in the face, and but he's coming back and back, and Guy Pearce is on the ground. Oh, at one point, Guy Pearce gets into his mind, and he's like, "Hey, fucking, I give you everything you would have want. You got to be a hero, you got to have sex with a blonde, and you got to have revenge."
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that scene, but I wrote down like how Vin Diesel had like a small monologue talking about how like that's not what life's about. It's all about being the best version. Like Guy Pearce said, "Oh, I made the best version of you," and he's like, "I don't care about that."
You made your best version of me. Yeah.
And I'm like, I know where that's coming from after this episode won't come up
Future
before.
duper spoilers. We already watched a couple Vin Diesel things, and stay tuned for next week. But
I was gonna say, there's some stuff in that where I can like, Vin is talking about Vin Diesel there for real. Like that wasn't necessarily Bloodshot's character. That was more Vin Diesel. That's what I got from that. Like, because he's always talked about, like being who you are, self-love, all that stuff. So that's at least how I interpret it.
What we should do, and we're workshopping our Vin Diesel podcast as we go along. We already watched the first couple things for our thing, right? One of which is a short film by Vin Diesel. It has a very obvious thesis to it. We should try to find the grain of that thesis in every single Vin Diesel movie. And it's right here in Bloodshot right now.
Where it's all about like yeah, he's ripped out of his mind, and like he's what a lot of people think is the perfect masculine man, but he's actually like doesn't care about that. It's just who he is physically, but at the end of the day, he is his own person. He's still a dork. He likes Dungeons and Dragons. He's we've talked about before how we're learning more and more about him, and I think you're right. I think there's a general thesis with all these films is that Vin Diesel isn't trying to be he is in this movie, the action hero, jacked dude. Like he's more than that.
Saying it, he is.
I don't think the movie executed that idea well. So
I agree with
that
you.
scene could have been better if like there was that element throughout the film where he's like, I didn't want to be a Marine. Maybe you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is something I signed up for. Like that'd be a little bit different. I don't know, but I get what he was trying to say. It just didn't. It wasn't. The film wasn't talking about it, so it didn't really hold well. Basically, he dumped water on the table instead of putting it in a cup because no one gave him a cup.
Sure. So we're back now. We're on ground zero. We're on the ground floor, whatever. He's fighting Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is trying to tell him, like, hey, you don't want to do this because of, things, whatever. And he's shooting him a bunch, and he's shooting him with, like, grenades or something like that, explosives. Vin Diesel's nanomites, Vegemite swarm grab the nade and rip all of it apart, except for, like, I guess the nade itself or whatever. And I guess he's got it in his hand, right? And then he uses up all of his energy, and Guy Pearce calls this out because he can see it on his robot arm wrist. It's like, your power levels are at 0 now. What are you gonna do? You're not a Superman anymore. And he's like, no, I'm me. And then he lets go of the nade, and
which once again, if that was the point of the movie, that could have been done much better. And also at that point, I'm like, oh, so did he kill himself? Like if he has no more, if all his
if
all his energy is gone, I thought he was like a human again. You know what I mean? Like he was just a normal, regular human. He had no more powers. The whole film,
I'm like, oh, when his energy runs out, he'll die,
or he turns off or something.
I just figured since these things are literally what's keeping him alive, if they shut off, he dies. But I guess he's just back to being a regular man, and he finally gets his true revenge, killing the guy that. I didn't kill his wife, but you know what I mean. Ruined his life. Epilogue. He wakes up in Wiggy's van. No car battery this time. There's like a throwaway line about how he'll never need to be recharged again because he has more stamina. Like, whatever. And then he gets out of the van, and Katie's there.
And this is like another Fast and Furious sunset again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, Vin. I know you love the sun. And I know you love the sunset. I think Vin Diesel has a soft spot for... Like, he's a true romantic, I think. Like, all his sex scenes, post-sex scenes, rather, it's always, like, the most romantic, like something you only see in movies, since they are movies, but, like, something so over the top that, like... I think he's a true romantic with that kind of stuff. And he also likes sunsets. I think he likes that shit. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just, like, I think he loves that shit, and that's why it's always in like every movie he's in. Yeah. It feels like so, at least the ones I've seen.
That they get in the car and they go. And that's it. So,
And there was no
yay.
after credit scene. I waited.
Oh, I didn't. I'm like, bedtime. Then we'll
see,
find out if there's a credit scene. Yeah, like I said, halfway through the recap, the ending here really struck me as completely boring. I have no interest in these people at all because they never gave any hints of personality, any ambitions, any likes, anything.
He mentioned at the end that, like, where are we going? Oh, I don't know. Good. Like, I get he was trying to say, like, in his monologue earlier,
Like, we're
that,
free. Like, we can go anywhere we want. No one's going to stop us. But I don't know what
really
you want.
are. Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, I don't know what you, like, oh, everyone's their own person, and no matter what you try to tell them to be.
These people are going to get jobs. I guess
They make money,
Wiggums
dude.
can hack money for them. But
Bitcoin, dog.
Yeah.
You think once again, he got that Bitcoin.
I said he wakes up in a van at this end here. He actually wakes up in an RV trailer that I assume they're taking Wiggums with
It
them.
was a much nicer one.
It would be cooler, like, what if they kind of, in this last third act there, you know, work together a bit and they become better comrades and they actually kind of feel like they're a family because they have no one. And now they have each other. At the end, I'm like, oh, yeah. Vin Diesel and his girlfriend with no lungs are towing the hacker dude.
By the way,
he's got nowhere else to go.
I was going to be disappointed if they kissed. I don't know why. Even though the characters have, like I said, like you said, they have no substance. I thought they were going to kiss, and I'm like, really? Like,
They have zero chemistry.
yeah, I was like, nah. And then they didn't, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Simply showing kindness to someone and saying, hey, I don't want you to go through an endless loop of torture is not like flirting. Or, you know, it's not like I'm gaining chemistry with
I
someone.
wasn't sure if that's what they were going to do, and I was a bit disappointed because I'm like, I don't need there to be. I guess it's just a personal opinion. I'm sick and tired of, like, superhero gets girl at end, superhero dude. And I'm glad he didn't because, once again, Vin Diesel, if you when the future episode comes out, we'll talk about it more. But there's a couple interviews he's done more recently where he talks about toxic masculinity, all that. And it's kind of toxic masculineness. It's kind of toxic, I guess, where the man always has to get a woman at the end of something because he saved the day or whatnot. And I'm glad they did.
She was never a damsel in distress. Although she was dressed like a Fast and Furious woman several times in this film. I'm like, you can just see the bra. And I don't think that was the intention of her to wear it like that. But there are plenty of, like, weird, like, oh, she's an empowered woman, but also, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I guess it's hard for us to talk about that.
I guess it's par for the course for these kinds of film, but that just seems like you're just normalizing it by saying that.
Well, also, I mean, it depends. I mean, I feel like we really can't talk about it too much because it's like women controlling their own.
I'm not a woman.
Sexiness, or rather, or what they look like. We don't have to objectify it.
Agency and choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe one day we'll get someone who's knows more about that.
We just need to counterbalance
That'd be really cool
and like be like, yeah, this dude's hot. Yeah, I'll jack off to this man. You know what I mean?
We just need to, dude. I have a list.
That.
I have a list. I ain't ashamed. I have a top 10 dudes. Maybe that's what we should do for when the Sonic movie show episodes. We give our top 10 dudes, our actors. Then we can do top 10 actresses.
No, because actress is not a word you want to use. It's just actor. They're all actors.
Male actors.
Actors with a capital A, and then female actors can be with a lowercase a. That's a joke. So that's the movie.
Yeah, we'll have to watch. You said you're never gonna watch this again, but you're gonna in like 3 years, and you're gonna save $20. I had a gift card still, so I actually only spent $5.
Really?
Yeah, birthday money.
God, I still have the AMC gift card.
Well,
I might never get to use that.
Yeah, if the world ends, for sure.
God. Wow.
But going back to what we talked about in the very beginning of this podcast, does Vin Diesel, does Bloodshot get sick?
Who's
Or does
his
those
primary
nanomites
care provider? Who's his physician?
I don't know. I guess Dr. Email Harting, Guy Pearce there.
Yeah, he dead though.
I'm just because I'm wondering if those nanomites, if they're not cells, like they're not blood cells, how do they get sick? They don't, right? I'm assuming.
Well, it's not that your
Does he
blood
get a
gets
virus?
sick.
Can he get like if he's like watching porn on some sketchy site and like can he
this
get
is,
it?
It's literally going to happen the way that Metal Gear Solid's franchise went. For Solid Snake, he's not an old man at all. But by the fourth game, he's a really fucking old man because these things are dying on the inside and they're killing him. Maybe they could do that. I don't know. Maybe he'll have a short life.
Because they mentioned how like it was the mice there was battling a cancer and it killed them.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering
like,
if they got
if
like
they were showing that every single time to him, that could have just been to show. You know what I mean? That might not even been real. I don't know.
True. Part of me wonders
they were
if
trying to
it's-
be like, "Oh wow, you're so cool. We've never seen you know." But
now I'm just wondering if he gets mono, how does that affect him? Does he have more questions than answers? More questions than answers.
Does he get colds?
I guess I'll have to read the Bloodshot comic.
Does he have allergies?
I don't know. Probably not.
Does he have personality?
I don't know.
Because he doesn't seem to.
I wonder what people think for like. I wish we got someone on here who like actually has read the Bloodshot comic books and like is a fan.
I had never heard of it. I'm not saying that it's a nothing comic. I had never heard of it. I had no idea it was a comic until like recently. I'm like, oh, okay.
And like, cause I'm looking at like the cover art and stuff, and like I said, it's like it's like a man covered in like almost like a silver white, and then like I said, it has like a painted red circle. Like it isn't like a blood, like a shotgun shot through him or anything like that. It's just a circle that's red, and I'm like, is that supposed to be the energy? Is that paint?
Is that his cool costume?
I don't know.
Symbol? Huh. I haven't seen this comic book either, so I have no opinions on that. Maybe the comic continues after this, but to be honest, I feel like the comic would have had it set up that these guys have personalities. And like,
I don't even know if those characters are
dreams.
Besides him, what are all those other characters based off the comic books? Were they written in? Guess that's more research we could have done, but then maybe the people who liked Bloodshot might hate this movie, love it. I don't know. Like Iron Man, I never read any of the Iron Man comic books, but I love Iron Man. So
yeah,
I don't know if any of that stuff is close to what his original origin was in the comics. I don't know. I also don't care. This is great.
I mean, I didn't read Alita Battle Angel until after I saw the movie. You know, but I don't think I'm going to go see Bloodshot, or I don't think I'm going to go read Bloodshot. So I don't know. Well, any like final thoughts about this film? Obviously, we gave our overall opinions, and most of them would apply after our spoilers anyway. But is this?
Can't rank it
a
yet,
normal
right?
episode. Yeah, I was gonna say this is not a normal episode of the Chronicles of Diesel, so we're not doing any
Even though it would
deep
probably
Vin
be the
Diesel
top one,
analysis or
naturally,
anything like
yeah.
that. But like, as a movie to go see this summer, if there was no coronavirus, would you watch this over other films? I guess. No?
I don't know. I mean, I go to the movies a lot more often than other people do. So if let's say I could only see one movie a month, no.
Yeah.
But maybe I would have saw it just because there's, I don't feel like seeing this. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else would have been out at this point. We really don't know because everything got postponed. And
honest to God, if we were not doing this Vin Diesel podcast, I would have not seen this movie at all.
Probably. Yeah.
But whatever. I said 5.5. You said 6. So we averaged to 5.75,
which matches IMDb's. Yep.
Yep. This is a film, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. I never want to have people not like things unless they're like offensive, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed the film if you watched it. Let us know your opinions on this in the comments on our YouTube channel, which is a Sonic Movie Show, on Apple or podcast services such as Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher.
That's new.
Pocket Casts is one of them.
Yeah.
Libsyn, and maybe iHeartRadio. I'm not sure if we're actually up on there now. I sent all the things through, So let us know on those places. Give us a like, a subscribe, a 5-star rating, a review if you could, please. Download all the episodes, delete them, download them again.
Share with a friend. Do you know a fellow Dieselhead?
Do you
share it?
Exactly. Do you know anyone that would actually like watching or listening to a podcast like this? Let them know. Let us know what you thought about this movie. Also, I guess, are you excited to actually walk through the Chronicles of Diesel with us? Because this episode comes through on the feed before the actual first real episode, so you haven't seen it yet or listened to it. So are you excited for it? Let us know. We're going to be doing this until the end of time, once a month.
Until we
actual
die.
Vin Diesel reviews.
Or until Diesel. If Diesel can come on here earlier, he can end our suffering.
Yeah.
The ball's in your court, Vin. If you're listening to this.
Yeah. Do all the things we just said, and when you're done with that, why don't you go ahead and follow us on Twitter. The show can be followed at Sonic Movie Show. I can be followed on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. Devin's on Twitter at CURSONA YouTube. The other podcast we do is called Sonic Movie Show. It's a Sonic News podcast. It's a movie news podcast. It's a Sonic movie news podcast. It's already on the feed. You're already here. So if you like kind of us
we talk
about things,
random movies coming out or
news.
Right now it's been kind of
the coronavirus.
Difficult. Yeah, the coronavirus. So
I think our last 2 episodes were talking about how we're not going to be able to see Bloodshot,
and here we finally did it.
Until next time, fill up that tank.
Don't look at my ass.